Yo, what's going on, guys? And I just want to go off of a report that's coming out from ESPN, and we've discussed in detail in prior videos, but I guess now it's official. And I don't even know what to think about the other news regarding LaMelo Ball. Maybe we'll do a video on that in the future. But right now, what I want to discuss is Ja Morant, according to Tim Bontemps, I believe, or Tim McMahon. Who was it? Tim Bontemps. That Morant is, I guess, being explored via trades by the Grizzlies. Now, I agree with him, and I just think a lot of the guys like Davis and Ja Morant, they're going to be an acquired taste because they aren't playing the best ball of their careers, and their contract situation is not the best. So, to me, it's going to be hard to move that contract. He's not a great three-point shooter, nor is he a great defender. And it's a calculated risk for whatever team trades for him, as he's going to be someone that is I don't want to say distractions, but basically the theatrics that come with Ja Morant. Are they going to warrant enough wins to make it worthwhile to not be annoyed by them? And I think that's the hardest part for me to figure out if it's worth it, because to me, as someone who's fortunate enough to work for USA Today Sports, hoopshype.com, and am a credential media member to cover Miami Heat games and other, teams while they're there. And just from the Heat standpoint, they don't run ball screens. So the Ja Morants in Miami does not, yes, they can rehab disgruntled superstars, etc., etc. We all know the spiel that people are going to give about Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley's, home for disgruntled and discarded stars and players. Now, I think they just don't fit. They don't fit. They don't run ball screens, and they like shooting. They like pushing. I think he could fit the culture. I don't think he fits the play style. And I think that's more valuable. And plus, cap reasons, the Heat are a team that I think they personally believe that in the new era of the salary cap, that having cap flexibility and not needing to deal with salary cap gymnastics is one of the best team building tools there is to have. And I also believe that they only do trades at this point that really cost them nothing. Like the Norman Powell, they gave up basically Kyle Anderson and Kevin Love for Norman Powell. That's the type of deals that they want to do. They just want to take other people's, trash, or not even trash, because Norman Powell wasn't trash. Just Norman Powell got traded because the Clippers knew that they weren't going to extend him and they needed some size, so they went and got John Collins. Okay, so they just it was more of a size. So the Heat are just looking for deals like that where they know a good player is going to be having to be traded for next to nothing. And I don't think that's what they're going to do with Ja Morant. And then also that the player has a contract that they think is cost controlled or expiring. So to me, with that, I just don't see the Heat being that team. And Ja Morant is, again, a team that needs I could see the Timberwolves, if they really feel like pushing that for a guard like that, but it becomes hard because it would have to be a Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo, or a Naz Reid, Mike Conley situation. So it becomes very hard to figure out that deal for the Timberwolves. So I don't think the Heat are going to do it. The Timberwolves have to be desperate. Now you're looking around, what team needs guard play at such a magnitude that they would take a swing at Ja Morant again, because it's going to be a team that has a lot of floor space. They have to be a decent three-point shooting team, or a team that has enough shooters that they're missing a playmaker to make them better. They have to be a team that's rather large to make up for the size difference that Ja Morant gives up. And then you're going to have to be a decent defensive team, because again, what he gives up as a defender. And is the change of play, or the abysmal play and the drop off of impact that Ja Morant is known for and had made a name for himself still there? He's still young, but he's suffered multiple injuries. Yes, they're not typical injuries that change or alter your career, but I think it's a multi-layered cake. As this is something that, first, suffering those injuries just mentally makes you more passive, like hesitant on doing that because you're going to get hurt. Second, did you, like, if you don't properly rehab, or like if your body doesn't properly respond, you're not going to be able to do that again. And C, I think the other thing is like how do you know if it's the scheme or it's something else? Like, it's just such a big risk you're taking for someone that you don't know if is going to translate into wins regularly. So that's where I'm at. So unless like something wild happens, what is something wild? The reason why I say something wild is a team like the Celtics, who they thought taking on Anthony Simons, who he was traded because he wasn't going to get an extension from Portland, and Boston wanted to get off of the long-term money of Drew Holiday. So I doubt they would be interested in the long-term money of Ja Morant. And that's what I'm saying is, like, if a team can't move Anthony Simons right now, or it's seemingly hard to move Anthony Simons, who's an expiring contract, I'm not saying like he's like an amazing all-star level player and it has the potential that Ja Morant does, but a player that could at least be a six-man on multiple squads isn't having much of a robust market, shows that someone who's making $10 million more, $10 to $15 million more than him, yeah, he might be a better player, might improve your team's odds to win a championship, but it's more money in an era with stringent salary cap rules, as well as a player that's not a shooter like Anthony Simons, and just as much as a defensive liability. So with those points being said, who wants that? It's gonna be a team that needs to run ball screens, and a team that is going to be willing to, I don't know, make up for the deficiencies that Ja Morant has. I don't know if there's a team out there that's going to be able to do that. I told you guys, the market, if you're looking for teams that may be interested in bringing him, you gotta be looking at some teams that need a ball handler. Obviously, Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver would be the type of guys to invest into that. Now, the contracts, it has to be something probably built around an injured DeJounte Murray, you'd think. And then outside of there, I don't think the Clippers or Boston's going to be in there. Dude, Dallas, if Nico is still running stuff, I could have seen that. We already talked about the Timberwolves, but I don't think Dallas is going to be there, because if you trade for him, it would have to be a deal built around Kyrie. I know some people are going to be like, you could do it with Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington and Martin, but if I'm the Grizzlies, that's not what I want. Brooklyn's been a popular one, and that could be built around Nick Claxton and then like Haywood Highsmith. I don't think the Wizards or the Magic would be interested. Same thing with Portland. I don't think Houston would be into that. I mean, Houston could be a dark horse, again, using Fred VanVleet and some other salaries to get the deal done. We've joked around that Sacramento could be a dark horse, and they have, like, in theory, the salaries to do it, but it's just like in Sacramento, it would probably be what, Malik Monk and Dennis Schroeder. I just think it's a weird situation. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. That's it for me. Hope you guys enjoy. Bye-bye, everybody. Ciao.